Okay, here I am again, continuing reading the introduction. His smile widened. Only two to add up your day's takings, he replied. That was it then. My goal was fixed and clearly in front of me. I worked hard in my fourth and fifth year, and it is WRYLY amusing to me now to think of the hours I spent boning up on those apparently useless subjects, particularly Latin. I love Latin, and most nights I sat poring happily over BIRGILOVID and CICERO. Towards the end, I think I could have carried on an intelligent conversation with an ancient woman, but the thought kept obtruding. What possible use is all this going to be to me as a veterinarian student? Some some people were encouraging. Oh, it will help you to understand a lot of the medical terms, they said. I believe it did, but I have been a, 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 but I'd have been a lot better learning about biology, as I hoped. I got my three hires and actually manage lower maths. I am such a total NUMBSKULL at the subject that I can't believe I really passed. But they used to say that if you got higher Latin, they would give you anything. So maybe that is what happened at the the time. I I wasn't worried. My foot was on the ladder. I was a student at the GOASGOW Veterinarian College. I was on my way to being a dog doctor. And I knew exactly what kind of a dog doctor I would be during the summer holidays between leaving school and going to the college. I carried a vision with me. I could see myself quite clearly, standing masked and gowned in a gleaming operating theater. I was surrounded by nurses, and on the table lay a dog which I was restoring to health by brilliant surgery, or sometimes I was in a white coat under the spotless walls of a consulting room, ministering to a series of dogs, large, small, ta- tail, tail wagging, WOEBEGONE, but all enchanting and all in need of my services. It was a heavily prospect. However, how- however, I walked up to the college with the new students to start the autumn. I found that the authorities had no intention of encouraging me in my ambition. They had other plans for me. They were going to make me into a horse doctor. Veterinarian education had stood still despite the fundamental changes which were taking place in all our studies were geared to the horse. The order of priorities as set out was quite clear. Horse, ox, sheep, pig, dog. It was a little jingle repeated over and over and pumped into us as we read our textbooks. SISSO podcast is great. TOME the ANATOMY other domestic animals provided exhaustive descriptions of the bones, muscles, digestive system, etc. of the horse. Then, then perhaps about a fifth of the space to the ox and so on down sheep pig to the poor dog Persian the end at the end. It was the same with the important subject of animal HUSBANDRY. When I looked through the yellowing pages of my my textbook of more than 50 years ago, I see that nearly all of it deals with the casting of horses, conformation, stable management, grooming, clipping, harness, and SADDLERY, and an enormous amount of shoeing. We had to learn how to shoe a horse, how to remove the old shoe and hammer on a new one. We spent hours in the ACRID smoke of a blacksmith's FORGES, and we were expected to to know how to harness a cart horse without making a mistake. Collar, HAMES, harness, saddle, and breeching, bridle, and reins, and belly band. All this was a surprise to me, but another surprise was the totally different attitude towards walking and learning at Hillhead High School. I had been accustomed to a strict regime. Academics academic standards were high, and the teachers there took their job seriously. They were quite determined minded that we would master our subjects, and any slackliness was quickly followed by a few strokes of the leather, TAWSE. But now I found I had been transported into a world where nobody seemed to care whether we learned anything or not. the present-day veterinarian school of GLAS, GLASGOW University is widely regarded as one of the best in the world, with every modern amenity and many brilliant men among its professors. Professors. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The, the GLASGOW Veterinarian College of 50 years ago was very different. It was a long, low DILAPIDATED building in a RAFFISH quarter of the city, and I was told that it was once used as the stables for the horses when the GLASGOW tram cars were horse-drawn. It certainly looked like that in an attempt to improve its appearance. It had been painted a sickly yellow, but it didn't help. Didn't help. In the late 20s, the government, faced with the declining demand for vets, had decided to close the GOW College and had withdrawn the financial grant. However, a board of governors banded together in an attempt to keep the place going, and when I arrived, they were still just hanging on, doing everything on a shoestring. A shoestring. A shoestring. Our teachers, with a few exceptions, were old, retired practitioners. Some of them were very old indeed, deaf, short-sighted, not particularly interested in what they were doing. The, the professor of botany and zoology did his job simply by reading aloud from a textbook. Quite often he. Yes? Okay, I'll be right there. Quite often he would turn over 2 pages by mistake, but never noticed until the class drew his attention to it by a series of yells, when he would look over his spectacles at us, smile, INDULGENTLY, and turn the page back quite unabashed. We were very fond of him and cheered him to the echo at the end of every lecture, when he never failed to make the same little joke. Well, gentlemen, he would murmur, forgetting that there there was actually one goal among us. I see by my gold watch and chain that our time is up. He always accepted our standing ovation graciously. The students too were different. Many of them were